What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chillcast. All right, here on the Fat Man Gaming. Just want to quick throw out my. I'm a dummy and I dropped my camera, so you might notice some glitches and you might notice that the positioning's not so good. After I got done filming a video earlier on the camera, it took a tumble off my desk. So a new camera is going to be needed soon, which is probably for the best because it's not the greatest quality, anyways. Um, but yeah, welcome back to the Chillcast. I don't remember what number this is. It's been a weird week already. But we will have it listed in the that good stuff. Um, but yeah, we got a lot of catching up to do. So, as usual, let me fix the camera angle because it's all set to me real quick, and then I want to see the other guys too. There we go. Now we're good. All right. As usual, next to me is Mr. Blue Sky himself, Blue. Down
Got
below
Eric.
us is Z Tons of Fun Guerra. Say hello, Z.
What's up?
So yeah, we're gonna get started. So this episode is our Jingle All the Way episode, and man, what a killer movie! Was told by the guys earlier. Actually, you'll find out as the episode goes on. Uh, One of my favorite Christmas movies, so you kind of know which way I'm gonna be leaning. But yeah, so let's get to it. Z is going to catch you guys up on the WWE roundup, and then him and Blue will chime in when they are. I didn't catch these last 2 weeks, unfortunately, so I won't be butting in as much. So yeah, let's just get right to it. Introductions out of the way. Take it away, Z. Give them their WWE news.
All right, so for the weeks of November 27th and December 1st, I'm just gonna give you guys the grades, because it's a lot to go through. So I'm gonna try to speed through those ones. So for the November 27th edition of Monday Night Raw, that got a C plus. It was honestly not that bad of a show of Monday Night Raw for once. It's actually pretty decent. CM Punk the ended that Raw. I gave that an A for grade. The notes on that, it says that CM Punk came out at the end of the show to address the WWE Universe on his return. His message was simple: he's home, and he ended the show with that he's not here to make friends, he's here to make money. Some people will see that as pretentious, but I see it as more of, you know, he's really not here to make money or to make money. He's not really here to make friends. Uh, SmackDown for the week of December 1st got a B minus. It wasn't all that great. It was honestly a lower graded SmackDown for once. The ending of that one ended with Randy Orton returning to SmackDown to sign a contract for either Raw or SmackDown. Even though Adam Pearce had guaranteed Randy Orton a World Heavyweight Championship match, Nick Aldis, the general manager of SmackDown, offered the entire bloodline to Randy Orton. So the people that took him out pretty much for all that time. So in the end, Randy Orton signed the SmackDown contract and then RKO'd Nick Aldis to close out the show. Funny thing too, on the next week of SmackDown, Randy Orton paid the fine of $5,000 plus an extra 5,000 for the next RKO. So that was pretty funny.
The next? What you mean?
He paid in advance, pretty much.
All right.
He paid $10,000 because it's $5,000 for the fine. All right, now moving on to this past week's Raw. The first match of the night was a normal falls match. It was Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Drew McIntyre is really leaning into his heel persona. It's fantastic. He does better as a heel than he did a face. That got an A minus. Uh, the women's matches on Raw have pretty much the same kind of grading. Uh, they just don't know how to really do women's matches under Triple H. They're not as bad as they were with Vince, but they're not as good. as they could be. So the second match of the night was Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Nia Jax. She won the match. It got a C minus, but no one really liked her, and I still don't. The next match was a 2 out of 3 falls match where where you or your team, depending on if it's a tag team match, which in this case it was, your team pretty much has to get 2 out of 3 pinfalls. Whoever gets 2 out of 3 wins the match. So it was DIY, which is Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano versus Imperium. DIY won, albeit a close match. That got an A. The next match was another women's match. It was Kay Carter and Kay Chance versus Tegan Knox and Natalia. Carter and Chance won. It was a C. It was good, but not as good as it could be. They need to step up their women's division. The next match of that Raw was the Judgment Days, Dirty Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough versus the Creed brothers. Finn Balor wasn't there that night. In the previous week, the Creed brothers had won the right to challenge the Judgment Days tag team for the tag team titles. But without Finn Balor there, it seems that's been put on the shelf for a little bit. The winner was the Creed brothers. Honestly, it's looking like the Creed brothers might take the tag team titles away from the Judgment Day. Kind of hope they do. The next one was a World Heavyweight Champ. The last match of the night was a World Heavyweight Championship match. It was an S- match. It was Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins, with the winner being Seth Rollins. At the end, Drew McIntyre came out and attacked Jey Uso. Again, setting up for this week's Raw. And then we got this past SmackDown, which was Oh, I forgot to give you guys the grade on that Raw. That grade on Raw was an A, a good Raw for once. Next, SmackDown. This past SmackDown. This one was Tribute to the Troops. So they're over at I don't remember where. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to start writing down the locations of these special events like that. Match 1 is the first round of the U.S. Championship Contenders match. They're doing like a tournament of sorts to determine who will face Logan Paul for the United States Championship. So the first round of that was Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee. That got a B+, with the winner being Santos Escobar. What do you remember of that match?
Not really that much. I kind of wasn't really paying attention.
You were playing video games, so I'll give you a pass. If I say a match and you you remember anything about it, feel free to jump in.
I remember that with the that's another Lucha Libre person, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing them when I looked over at your screen. They weren't in the ring.
Yeah.
I remember. Wait, didn't he get like thrown into the freaking chair or something, or was that?
Yeah. Yeah. It was not fun. The second match of SmackDown's Tribute to the Troops was another first round U.S. Championship contender match. It was Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. Looks like they're pushing Bobby Lashley. I'm hoping they're not pushing him for another title run. I kind of want Santos Escobar to get that title match. He deserves it. But Bobby Lashley won that match, and it was a B+. Now, in the middle of the show, at around 9 o'clock, so an hour into the show, CM Punk came out. No, so this was a talking segment for CM Punk. He pretty much rehashed what he said from the previous Raw episode, but this time I should wait for my cousin for this one. Actually, I'll swing back on this one. So I'm waiting for my cousin because he is a huge CM Punk fan. So the next match of the night was a normal.
I hate to cut in, but why does it look like he's opening Christmas presents early?
No, I think it's the second screen.
I know, but it's in the tree.
So the next match of the night was Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. Unfortunate news with this one. It seems as though Charlotte Flair is injured. Albeit we don't know what type of injury or how long she will be injured, but Asuka won the match with help from Bailey after damage control was thrown out. That got a C minus. The main event of the night was Randy Orton and LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa of the Bloodline. Randy Orton and LA Knight won. Excellent match. Grade A. With my cousin back, I can now talk about on the Tribute to the Troops SmackDown CM Punk segment. Because you would want to hear this. So, CM Punk came out and started talking. He pretty much rehashed what he had said on the previous Raw. But he also took shots at Roman Reigns. He called himself Punk called himself the OG Paul Heyman guy, saying that Paul was his wise man first. Taking shots at how Roman's never there. Just pretty much calling him a part-timer. He also mentioned Randy Orton, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and the Bloodline. He also, on the down low, mentioned his backstage brawl on AEW, saying that it's like he was pretty much saying that it's not cool to go around punching people backstage. He was comparing himself to Kevin Owens, saying that it's 2023. That's not cool to go around punching people backstage. He also took a big shot at Seth Rollins, saying that Seth Rollins isn't even the man in his own household, referencing Becky Lynch's gimmick.
That's dirty. That's
Yeah, that was
messed up.
my eyes widened at that. I was like, damn. He also hinted at entering the Royal Rumble and main eventing WrestleMania.
And
He
that's pretty much what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's looking to sign to either Raw or SmackDown, but he's partly letting fans decide. However, it was revealed later on that he's also been talking to Shawn Michaels.
That was just a show. They're not gonna waste them on NXT.
Now, this is what I want to talk about. CM Punk's contracts. He has 3 options. He's got Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. I don't want to see him on Raw.
No, I don't think anybody does.
No one wants to see him on. It's a 3-hour show. It's too long of a show. He won't be utilized fully there, in my opinion. I would want him on SmackDown as the main show, but if he was on NXT, it would help boost their ratings a lot more.
Yeah.
And give a chance for up and coming stars to actually go in the ring with a legend like himself and prove to show how worthy they are to step in a ring with a big name star.
Now let me tickle your fancy with this. Imagine this, because this is where which way I could see it going. So there's rumor that the people that bought WWE, the company that also owns UFC, I always forget the name.
Endeavor.
Yeah, Endeavor. There was rumor now that they want to merge the brands again, and that's why they've been doing so many cuts. Because they're trying to whittle the roster down to very minimal, so that way they can manage it on on TV. By merging the brands, what I mean is wrestlers showing up on both shows. And they've done this over and over again. They've merged and separated since the beginning. Of SmackDown. So catch this. What if CM Punk actually just finishes the Seth Rollins feud, right? Before WrestleMania, and then he becomes the new world champ. Goes on, wins WrestleMania, and chooses to fight was it Roman Reigns, and becomes then the unified champ, which they've done before, holding 2 belts. And then you get CM Punk on both shows. They start his new reign, and A versus B.
Well, actually, interesting fact, interesting news bit actually came out recently. Roman Reigns is scheduled to be in Perth, Australia for the Elimination Chamber. So it looks as though whoever wins the Royal Rumble is going to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Because if they're gonna have Roman on that show, that means that he's gonna end up putting his title on the line at that show, whether it be in a singles match or what everyone's hoping, an elimination chamber. So he has to drop the title. So it kind of like forces someone to actually take the title off of him.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't see him losing that title anywhere but WrestleMania because he's also. It's been long rumored too that he's also due for a leave of absence. So that I mean, what a way to go out. Because they're gonna want him on that Monday after Raw or the Monday after WrestleMania. So
Yeah,
they always do the
it's
big
also
highlight
been,
show.
and to feed on that rumor of yours of the brands merging, that's another news story came out, another rumor saying that a new belt is rumored to be revealed at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, and that
And
could be the
people are, yeah, they're speculating it could either be a finally a unified tag team championship that's just one belt, or it could be uh a new, or it could be like you said, a new combination of the World Heavyweight Championship and the Undisputed Universal Championship.
I have an idea. For the tag team belt, what they could do is they could make like two separate belts that connect.
See, Lucha Underground actually has something like that already.
Oh, really?
What it is, it's one belt, and each part of the belt is a little medallion. You have to collect in order for you to become the reigning champion. With that belt, you have to collect all 7 medallions, but it also grants you an opportunity to fight for the main title. It's not the main title itself, but it's kind of works like a Money in the Bank contract. You collect all
Oh,
7 pieces, and you can use it as a cash in to get one of their main titles, or you can just hold on to it. There's no time limit on it. You can just hold on to it and have it be your own title.
that makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah, and WWE could actually do something like that. Could actually utilize that kind of idea.
It's like collecting all the 7 Dragon Balls.
Yeah, but
or collecting these nuts.
so to give a grade on that on this past week's SmackDown, it was an A+ for tribute to the troops. So that's all the wrestling news.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't able to catch any of that, so I kind of I'm missing all the CM Punk news, even though he's my guy. Everyone knows that that's my dude. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
tonight
I
he
gotta
will be
catch
on
up.
Raw. Yeah, tonight he will be on Raw, and he will be making his decision on what brand he will be going to.
Yeah, frustrating, but okay, we'll see. I hope he doesn't choose Raw. But then again, Raw does need somebody because I mean, Seth Rollins ain't doing it. Seth Rollins is boring. I'm sorry, that guy sucks. His whole Seth freaking Rollins thing. Like the only time Seth Rollins was good is when he was in the Shield. I'm sorry, that's just the hard truth. He's not the
Yeah,
guy, and
yeah. Well, what people are speculating is that with Gunther's current Intercontinental title run,
that guy deserves to be nowhere near the main championship. That guy sucks. Boring.
it looks like they're setting him up for it because he's a big favorite to win the Royal Rumble.
So boring.
And so with Roman Reigns being scheduled, like confirmed schedule for
He reminds
Elimination
me of
Chamber,
a even more boring Rusev.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
But he would make for an interesting world heavyweight championship holder for a long period. And then they can bring in the guy who dethroned him for the NXT championship, Ilya Dragunov. He's the
yeah.
only guy to ever beat Gunther, so
I have a feeling he'll be one of the cuts they make after WrestleMania. They always make cuts. The farewell and good luck in your future endeavor cuts. I'm hoping Gunther's one of them. Sucks. All right, let's move on to the main topic. The main topic, y'all, is Jingle All the Way. Let me take my filter off because I want to show you guys something cool. Where's my mouse? Oh, I rearranged my desk, so I'm not used to where everything's at. Um, so Jingle All the Way, it's a classic Christmas movie. Um, you don't like it, then not friends. But yeah, so let's get to it. Oh, wrong screen. Um, so Jingle All the Way. You can see it now. You can watch it on Disney Plus. So anybody watching, you can go to Disney Plus and watch it right now. Um, it was let's see, directed by Brian Leavitt, written by Randy Cornfield, produced by Chris Columbus, great producer, Michael Barnathian and Mark Radcliffe. It starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the great action heroes of all time, Sinbad, one of the greatest comedians of all time, Phil Hartman, rest in peace, another great comedian, Rita Wilson, Robert Conrad, Jake Lloyd, aka Young Darth Vader, um, Jim Belushi, good actor. Brother was better. Um, and then let's see. It was released by Fox, 20th Century Fox. Release date was November 16th, 1996. And then yeah, running time about 89 minutes. Budget was 75 million, made 129.8 million dollars in revenue. So it got its money and then some. Um, so yeah, so before we get into the whole movie review and read the plot and all that, the movie is based basically around the one Christmas toy. Now we've all been there. If you're an adult now, but back then you would have ran. If you're from my generation, you know, and all the generations prior, your parents, the kids always wanted that one gift. I know Z knows it. I know Blue knows it. There was always that one gift that you had to have for Christmas that drove your parents nuts because they worked so hard to try to go get it. Now most parents did. Um, and that one present in this movie is called Turbo Man, and it's the whole basis of the movie and what it's based on. And we'll get into that in a minute. But before we do, got to get into this. Turbo Man himself. The movie is based on this guy right here. Um, the whole movie they're hunting for this guy. He was the Power Ranger of the time in this movie. My parents, when I was younger, this would have been a Power Ranger. My parents hunted forever for the Power Rangers for the Generation One Power Rangers. So yeah, Turbo Man right here looking all nice. Blue, did you see this?
Oh my. That is amazing.
This is the actual Turbo Man. This is him right here. He's in his Turbo Man box. He's got all the stuff that he had in the movie. He actually says it's turbo time. I have two of these. This one is unopened, sealed in the box, which will never be opened. And I have the other one that I opened and played with. And he's somewhere in the house. And he actually says turbo time. He lights up. He's got the boomerang things. He does all that stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys watching and the crew here. Um, Turbo Man. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's see. Where does Z go?
Cleaning my ears.
Oh, okay. Um,
They're bothering me.
let me here. You guys talk about something real quick. I gotta do something real quick. 1 second. Take up some airtime, guys.
So, how about that weather?
How about that weather? How's Turbo Man?
Look at you.
So, should we give a rundown of the movie with no spoilers?
How about we just say something? I'm gonna say a line from a movie. It'll make sense later. Put the cookie down.
Put the cookie down.
Chuck your whole camera doing that.
It'd be like that. I'd use my diaphragm and push my legs out.
Put the cookie down.
Put the cookie down. Get to the chopper.
Arnie is just the best part of the movie. Like you wouldn't think that someone that does weightlifting and action movies for a living, you wouldn't think he'd be a good fit for a comedic role. But you know, he makes it work.
Sorry, guys. I had to use the restroom. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. So this is Jingle All the Way. You guys know how we do it here. We read from the plot summary. I think I'll just read the whole thing and then we'll give our thoughts on the movie afterwards. That way we're not breaking in between time. So, all right, let's start off. This new screen is coming in handy because now I can actually see everything. So yeah, this is cool. All right, so here we go. Oh, this is new to me. I did not know this. Okay. Workaholic Minneapolis mattress salesman Howard Langston loves his wife. Liz. Sorry, guys. Kids fighting. Um, wife Liz and 6-year-old son Jamie, but rarely finds time for them. He is often put in a bad light by his neighbor divorcee Ted Malton, who harbors unacquainted feelings. Oh, hold on, guys. Z, take up some airtime.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. Start singing. Uh, let's see.
Awkward silence. Let's break it. So something I wanted to say is I'm not gonna spoil the movie, but having Arnold Schwarzenegger as the main character was just amazing for this movie. Because it just adds a character that's just like, and they make fun of who he is technically with him being strong in the movie. There's a quote that they used that they said, "You can't bench press your way out of this one."
All
That was
right, sorry about that. All right, let's finish. Where do we leave off at? Oh, who harbors unacquainted feelings for Liz after missing Jamie's karate class graduation? Howard resolves to redeem himself by fulfilling his Christmas wish for Turbo Man action figure. God, these people do not know how to write these things. We say it every time, and every time I'm reading it, it's just they're missing words, or it's just yeah. Turbo Man action figure, a popular television superhero, despite Liz actually having asked him to buy one 2 weeks earlier, which Howard forgot about. On Christmas Eve, Howard sets out to buy the toy but finds that every store has sold out. No crap. In the process, develops a rivalry with Myron Larrabee, postal worker father, with the same goal in desperation. Howard attempts to buy a figure from a counterfeit ring run by conmen. You should hear it over there. Dressed in Santa Claus suits, which results in a massive fight in the warehouse. God, that was hilarious. That is broken up by the police. Howard narrowly escapes arrest. Howard goes to a diner and calls home, intending to tell Liz the truth. Jamie answers the phone, but keeps reminding him of his promise to be home in time for the annual holiday entertainment parade. Losing his patience, Howard yells at Jamie, and he feels guilty and depressed after Jamie scolds him for not keeping his promises. Howard finds Myron at the diner and shares an experience over coffee, where Myron tells him that his resentment towards his own father for failing to get him a Johnny 7 OMA gun for Christmas. During their conversation, did you guys know that that was a real toy?
really?
Yeah, I
Mm.
looked it up. Johnny 7 OMA, and they're very collectible.
Huh.
Um, for Christmas. During their conversation, Howard and Myron overhear a radio station advertising a competition for a Turbo Man doll. The ensuing fight between them results in the diner's phone getting disconnected, forcing them to race to the radio station on foot, where the DJ reveals to them that the competition was actually for a Turbo Man gift certificate. The police are alerted, but Howard and Myron escape. Myron threatens the officers with a seemingly phony letter bomb. Officer Alexander Hummel, whom Howard has run into several times already, investigates the package, only to have it detonate in his face. So good. Upon returning to his suburban home, Howard finds it it's stripped by cart. Oh, god dang it! See, they added a word. After returning to his suburban, a car, Howard finds it stripped by car thieves. He takes a tow truck home where he finds Ted putting the star on his family's Christmas tree. In retaliation, Howard starts to steal the Turbo Man doll under Ted's tree, bought for his son Johnny. but can't bring himself to do it. Unfortunately, Liz catches him in the act. Howard is left alone while his family goes to the Christmas parade. Ted and Johnny. After dropping off Jamie and Johnny, Ted attempts to seduce Liz, but she violently rejects him by dousing him in eggnog. Meanwhile, remembering his promise to Jamie to go to the parade, Howard decides to attend as well, but returns in but runs into Hummel again, the cop. The resulting chase leads to Howard hiding inside a storage room where he is mistaken for the actor portraying Turbo Man and dresses in the highly technological costume as Turbo Man. Howard uses his chance to present a limited edition action figure to Jamie, but they are confronted by Myron, dressed as Turbo Man's arch enemy, the Mentor. Despite Howard's pleas for Myron to stop, the long chase ensures involving a jetpack fight. Myron grabs the toy from Jamie but is cornered by the police. While Howard rescues Jamie, Howard reveals himself to be the to his family to be Turtle Man and apologizes for his shortcomings. After Officer Hummel returns the toy to Jamie while Myron is handcuffed, but Jamie decides to give the toy to Myron for his son. Proclaiming his father is the true hero, touched by Jamie's act of kindness, Myron apologizes for his earlier discrepancies. The crowd carries Howard away in the hero's fashion as Myron, Liz, and Jamie happily watch. This was one of the best parts of the movie here. In the post-credits scene, Howard finishes decorating their Christmas tree later that night, putting the star on top. However, after kissing and hugging Liz, asks Howard what he got her for Christmas when he realizes with a shock that he forgot her gift. And then that sums up the movie right there. So yeah, guys, Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, young Darth Vader, and a whole bunch of other people. Um, so starting off with you, Blue, what did you think about the movie? And then like, what were some of your favorite parts in it?
I thought it was amazing. I love the comedy aspect of it. And I said it earlier while you stepped away, but I love that they kind of took Arnold out of his character sometimes. He's like, you can't bench press your way out of this one.
Yeah.
And then the way it ended, I thought was the most wholesome ending. But still think the kid was kind of dumb for that. He gave the freaking gift to the guy that freaking tried to
Yeah.
literally kill him
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gave it to him.
But I thought it was just so amazing how like he gave his kid something better because he was Turbo Man by accident.
That's true. But we never that was the one thing that the movie didn't address. Did he get to keep the suit? So
Uh, I mean, I would have just flown away with it. What are they gonna do?
mm-hmm.
They
See
can't
you
give
guys
it
at
to me.
home. Yeah. So moving on to you, Z. What did you think about the movie? And what were some of your favorite parts?
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of like the Christmas movies and whatnot, but this is one of the ones that I actually really enjoyed. It was funny, it was captivating, all around, especially with Arnold Schwarzenegger being the main character. Like that man, you never think for a man that's in mainly action movies playing a hero or something, you never expect him to take on a comedic role and pull it off. Most people that do that, they can't really do both. But Arnold, he knows how to work it.
Yeah,
And
he had been in he had been in comedy movies before, and it was funny because this one was probably one of his best ones. But he it just goes to show that he really got kind of like cheesed out when it came to like Academy Awards and all that, because granted most of his movies weren't really like Oscar worthy, but he really is like one of the most underrated actors, just because like he's stretched out so far. He could do movies like Predator, but didn't come and do a movie like Jingle All the Way, and he was hilarious in there. Now a lot of that had to do with the way he talks, but it was just good fun because it was weird. It was good to see him do his comedies. Now one of his best comedies is the movie called Twins with Danny DeVito. It's such a good movie. Um, but yeah, no, he really did an outstanding job in this movie, and then so did rest in peace Phil Hartman, but Phil Hartman was actually really good as the adversary in the movie. The guy trying to steal his wife and all that. But I mean, Sinbad was one of the best parts. I mean, the dynamic that Sinbad and Arnold had in the movie was probably some of the best back and forth. But yeah, so what were some of your favorite parts, you guys? We'll start off with you again, Blue. What was the one part in the movie that stood out the most?
Uh, so like, it was really kind of weird. Something I never really like understood that they put in the children's movie was there was a part he grabbed their mom's butt. You know what scene I'm talking about, and it was so obvious. And it's like, why would they show like him making all these like I don't even know what the word is.
Advances.
Advances, yeah. All these advances towards someone who obviously wasn't interested. Like, I'm just worried because, like, imagine watching as a kid and then you're like, oh, that must be okay. Everyone already likes this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that was movies had a little bit more freedom in them back then. Like,
Yeah.
while we're on the subject, it's funny because I grew up in the era of real comedies, I call them, and that's in like movies like Knocked Up or Superbad. Superbad being probably one of the best of the era. And then you got like Scott Pilgrim and stuff like that. You don't get movies like that anymore, just because Hollywood has gone so quote unquote woke. Um, and it sucks because like a lot of these guys who used to like make some of the greatest comedy movies of all time, and a lot of the raunch comedies like Hot Tub Time Machine and stuff like that, they can't do it anymore because everybody's so damn sensitive and like I don't
Well,
know if have you guys know who Matt Rife is?
yes.
Okay,
I know him because of I've seen his clips on TikTok
okay,
and
yeah.
Wild and Out.
So he had a comedy special on Netflix that's out right now. It just came out not too long ago. And he starts off the show with it was freaking hilarious, but he starts off the show with
Oh, I know what
a
you're talking about.
yeah, he starts off the show with a domestic violence joke. And it's clearly a joke. Like comedians are gonna be comedians. And yeah, some people took offense to it and they're trying to cancel him and all this garbage, but
I
it's
mean, you can't cancel someone that's been on the same show as Nick Cannon.
yeah, it's stupid. I don't know.
It's physically impossible.
I don't know how I don't know how people could be so sensitive. It's really annoying now.
Yeah. And then yeah, I'm the same way. Like my humor, I have dark humor, and I let it be known. Like I at least warn people before. Like I'm like if I'm meeting a new group of friends, like especially on here on Discord, if I'm in a new server and the moment I hop into a call, I do let it be known, like, hey, my humor is pretty dark. If that's not allowed, just get me out of the server. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the server right now. If you guys can't handle, a little bit of dark humor. And I at least ask like, and I will also ask at least, how dark can I get? Because I technically have no limit, but I will place a limit on myself depending on the situations. Uh, for example, when I'm with my school friends, the friends I made from school, we make a bunch of jokes about about our weights, about our races. We just go down the rabbit hole.
yeah.
Uh, I call one of my friends. He's blonde hair, blue eyed, and so I make some World War II type jokes about him.
Yeah.
But it's all in good fun. We all know it's not serious. They don't take it seriously. They just clap back at me, and
Yeah.
but that's how dark my humor can get.
And really that shouldn't even be considered dark humor. It's just considered humor. I mean, if you're gonna cry about it, go get a diaper and suck on a binky. Yeah, we don't need that shit here. We
Yeah,
won't have it on the channel. So I mean, just a PSA. Oh, while we're on the subject, guys, I know we're getting off topic, but we've had some people come in and be like, "Oh, I don't like a certain member." I'm not gonna say who it was because we all know who it was. That's between us now. But if you don't like a certain member, then you can kindly just go because we don't want any negativity here. um, the four of us, Salem's not here, but the four of us are working dynamically together. We got a good thing going, and yeah, I don't want any negativity here. We didn't get to where we're at already. You know, we're not even that far up, but we're getting there, and want to keep climbing that wall. But um, we don't want the negative sayers here. I'm only one person is allowed to be negative here, and that's Jason. Jason, if you see this, you're allowed to be that guy.
Yeah, like, and speaking of climbing walls, me and you should be good at that.
Yeah. So so then but yeah, so let's getting back on the subject. So for me, um, the movie, like I said, is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all times. The whole hunt for Turbo Man reflected on what my parents went through with Power Rangers. Um, I remember my mom and dad telling me horror stories about what they had to do to get the Power Rangers, and we got them. We got the Power Rangers. We got the Megazord. I think my grandma, who Z lives with, even got some Power Ranger stuff for us that year for Christmas. So yeah, the battle was real. And the movie was fun because it reminds me of that. It just reminds you of what Christmas used to be because it's not the same anymore. Now you can just go to Amazon, you can do this, you can do that, and there's no fun in the hunt anymore. So this movie does bring back some really good memories growing up and all that. But my favorite part of the movie was probably the warehouse scene when he's fighting the Santa Clauses because I don't know Z if you noticed, one of the Santa Clauses was actually the Big Show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like I thought I recognized him,
yeah,
and
it was
Lou
the
actually was the one to point it out. He was like, he's like, that guy's a wrestler. I was like, nah, there's no way. So
yeah, it
he
was
looked it up,
Paul White,
and
the Big Show.
yeah,
I didn't
but
even
he said the name. I was like, oh shit, that's the Big Show.
and I
Yeah,
didn't even know. I was just like, with his build, I said like with his build, he has to be in WWE or Raw.
yeah. Well,
And
he was WCW at the time, but yeah, he was on an alternate brand. But yeah, he was WCW. He was AKA the Giant, but it was the Big Show. Yeah. But my
That was
best,
that was my favorite scene too, simply because of the fact of the tiny Santa
yeah. But
just got
what?
kicked.
But my favorite part in the entire movie was, and it's such a small part, but it was when they're in the mall when they find out that there's been a late delivery of the Turbo Man to a store in the mall, and they rush to the mall to get there, and the mall guys are telling them that, oh yeah, we have them, but you have to enter this raffle. In order to do it, you have to have one of these balls. We'll call a number. If your ball has that number, you get a Turbo Man doll. Um, so the crowd starts rushing into the people running the store, and everybody starts grabbing a ball. Well, the people holding the buckets of balls then just yoink the balls in the air, and chaos ensues. Just crowds and crowds of people jumping on each other, grabbing the ball. Arnold and Sinbad both get a ball. Arnold gets knocked out by Myron. Myron ends up grabbing it. To which Arnold then yells, "He got two!" And everybody sets their eyes on Myron, and the one guy's like, "Get the mailman!" And they all start like tackling Sinbad, and then all of a sudden he's on the ground screaming, "Rodney King, Rodney King." That was like one of my favorite parts. But yeah,
Yeah, that
and
was a funny part too.
the movie as a whole is just so good. Like the animation for the CG work that they did for the actual Turbo Man suit was really good. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. Legitimately looked like they were actually doing stuff. Um, and then but yeah, just the movie overall is just so good. But yeah, that's pretty much Jingle All the Way. They did make a sequel. It had Larry the Cable Guy in it. We don't talk about that because that movie sucks. Um, but yeah, you guys got anything to talk about? You guys want to say anything else or wrap this one up early? We're running at 44 minutes right now.
um,
I don't think I got anything.
I thought it was really funny about how they both got into costumes at the end. it was the mailman, like the best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew it was him. Zia was like trying to predict it was the guy who was hitting on his wife, but I was like, there's no way it had to be the mailman.
Yeah, it had to be because the whole movie was. And see, I was kind of thinking, no, it would be Ted too, but then Ted was kind of lame. Ted was just there to be a set piece for the whole wife situation. But yeah, it had to be Myron because Myron was literally the arch enemy in the movie. And in the very beginning, if you look, Myron actually does kind of look like the guy who was in the suit in the show. So yeah, it only made sense to have it be Sinbad. But man, such a good movie. And then there was the scene when he's getting ready to go get the Turbo Man doll, where Jamie's at the table eating his cereal, and it looked like it was like Chex cereal with marshmallows. Now they used to do that when we were younger. I remember one of the best cereals I ever had was the Ninja Turtle cereal, and it had like the sweet Chex in it, and it had marshmallows. Oh man, I miss cereal like that. You kind of get it now with like if you get Chex, you can buy on Amazon a bag of marshmallows and just do that. But yeah, there's nothing like a good rice cereal. Um, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Unless you guys got anything else to go to add. See?
Uh, no, nothing movie
No?
movie related at least.
Okay. All right. So let's do our goodbyes, and then yeah, let's head on out. Just a quick PSA: we will be doing the game cast. It's gonna be about talking about all the happenings at the Game Awards that we were all freaking excited about. Um,
And
we did
disappointed.
a live stream of the Game Awards. Unfortunately, the audio. Give me that. Unfortunately, unfortunately, the audio cut out, and yeah, and it wasn't a good time. Only my audio came through, but it's still getting pretty decent views, so that's pretty cool. Thank y'all for that. But yeah, so we're probably gonna try to start doing more live streams here. I know that the guys want to play Fortnite, and I'm kind of anxious to get into it too. But we'll address all that on the GameCast. So you're gonna look out for that one, and then yeah, guys, we'll catch you guys on the next one. So like we always do, we do our outros. So yeah, you guys stay classy, and we'll see you on the next one. See?
Guys, see you next time.
And then Blue, send us home.
Merry Christmas.
All right, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Happy Halloween.
No.
Also, I'm not going to do you guys dirty. We love you and Merry Christmas from the entire family.